All right, let's talk about one of the most common, most debated, and honestly most personal questions you'll face if you're serious about becoming a filmmaker, and especially if you want to be a director. And that is, should I go to film school and study directing, or should I just learn it online for free through YouTube, online courses, or just getting hands-on experience? This is a big one. It's the kind of question that doesn't have a one-size-fits-all answer, so I'm going to break it down from both sides. We'll look at the value of a formal education, the power of the internet, and what it really means to become a director today. Let's start with film school. When you study directing at a university or film institute, you're not just learning how to move a camera or block a scene. You're getting a structured, curated experience. You study film history, theory, script analysis, lighting, production design, sound, editing, and probably even get to direct multiple short films with actual crews. You get professors who've been in the industry, classmates who become collaborators, and sometimes access to expensive gear and sound stages that you'd never get on your own. Film school also gives you deadlines, which, let's be honest, a lot of creatives need. You're forced to complete projects, revise your work, and learn to give and take criticism. You're learning in an environment where failure is part of the process, not something that costs you money or damages your reputation. On top of that, there's the networking. And this is huge. Some of the biggest names in the industry met their producers, writers, DPs, and editors in school. And when you graduate, you walk away with a portfolio, a reel, maybe a short film that's gone to festivals, and, if you've played your cards right, a few connections in the industry. But, and this is a but, film school isn't cheap. Depending on where you go, you could be looking at $40,000 to $200,000 in debt, especially in places like the US. And that's before you even start making money in an industry that is notoriously competitive, underpaid at the entry level, and inconsistent. That's the risk. There's no guaranteed job waiting for you at the end of a directing program. You could graduate with honors and still end up working as a PA, or worse, not working in the industry at all, just because you didn't have the right timing or connections or a bit of luck. And this is where the self-taught route, the YouTube university path, becomes really attractive. Now let's talk about learning directing online. We are living in the golden age of free information. You can go on YouTube right now and find hundreds of hours of tutorials, breakdowns, case studies, behind-the-scenes footage, and interviews with legendary directors for free. You can study how Spielberg blocks a scene, how Denis Villeneuve builds tension, how Greta Gerwig works with actors, or how Jordan Peele uses sound, all from your bedroom. There are creators who make entire masterclasses on cinematography, storyboarding, editing, and production for the price of a Netflix subscription, or for nothing at all. If you're motivated, you could watch, study, and imitate the greats every day. And better yet, you can make things right now. Grab your phone, grab a friend, and make a short film this weekend. Post it online. Get feedback. Repeat. In today's world, you don't need a $10,000 camera or a big crew to start directing. Some people have built careers starting with just an iPhone, a compelling idea, and consistency. But here's the catch. The self-taught path takes a lot of discipline. There's no one telling you what to do or when. There's no structured learning path. You have to build that yourself. And it's easy to get stuck watching content without ever actually applying it. It's also harder to find collaborators, especially early on. You might feel isolated, and it can take a lot longer to build a strong network. Plus, if you don't have a natural eye or storytelling instinct, you may not realize what you're doing wrong, because you don't have that professor or peer group giving you feedback. So while you save money, you're investing more time, trial and error, and self-motivation. Now let's zoom out a bit. What does a director actually need to know to be good? You need to understand storytelling at its core. You need to know how to work with actors. You need to develop a visual language. You need to lead a team, solve problems fast, and make decisions constantly. These are skills that can be learned in both paths, but they are best learned by doing. Whether you go to film school or not, experience is king. You get better at directing by directing. So the real question isn't, should I go to school or learn online? It's which path will get me directing more often, more effectively, with more growth? For some people, school creates that environment. For others, self-learning does. And don't forget, there are middle paths. You can take workshops, join online communities, attend short-term directing programs, or volunteer on indie sets. You can go to networking events, post in film forums, or find a mentor. You can study film books like In the Blink of an Eye by Walter Murch, Directing Actors by Judith Weston, or Story by Robert McKee, all while building a portfolio on your own terms. So here's my advice. If you thrive in structured environments, you want to build a long-term network, and you can afford the investment, then film school could be the right choice. It gives you time, space, and community to explore your voice. But if you're self-driven, resourceful, budget-conscious, and eager to dive into real-world experience fast, then skip the debt. Go hands-on, start shooting now, and learn from every mistake. Direct small projects, collaborate, watch movies obsessively, study breakdowns, get feedback, and keep leveling up. Because at the end of the day, directing is not about a diploma. Nobody's going to ask what school you went to when they're watching your short film. What matters is what's on the screen. Your taste, your voice, your ability to tell a story that moves people. And that comes from doing the work, wherever and however you choose to learn it.